Michelle Obama launched her podcast and was completely humiliated.
Oh,
her show has 15,000 views.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Ouch.
15,000 views after almost 2 days.
The braids?
Yeah, where are you, black folks? She wore
Why didn't she do this in Black History Month? She missed her opportunity.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, it's like Brett Cooper absolutely annihilated her on the podcast launch.
Yeah. I mean, so there was a tweet that I want to get your reactions to because I thought it was pretty good.
She didn't even have like the money to at least boost it in ads or buy views or something to not embarrass herself this bad.
She did a nationwide press tour for this podcast. I think she was on The View. She was on. So
yeah, you type in Michelle Obama into YouTube right now,
and 100 articles
like New York Post, CNN, CBS News, ABC News, all of this huge, larger marketing push. I even saw ads for it, and I'm not in the target demographic here to love the brotherly love talk. Okay, but seriously, the comments here though. I did a video earlier on this, and I was like, okay,
find a positive one. I dare you.
Yeah.
On this video,
on the Michelle Obama one,
yeah. But it shows you that the Obamas are losing a lot of influence here.
Yeah. Benny Johnson put out this tweet, and I want to get everyone's reaction to it. I'll go right down the panel. I want to set it up with this tweet, but also get your reaction because, like, the comments are literally just everyone dunking on her. There's no positive. Like,
I don't know how her PR team even let this happen.
I can't believe they left the comments on.
I know.
And like, if I were them, I would just stick 50 grand into buying views on YouTube. Like that, the fact that it launched this poorly is worse than losing the 50 grand because she's going to lose book deals. She's going to lose. He wrote that Benny Johnson, it probably wasn't Benny Johnson. It was probably the girl that manages the social media. In the past week, the corporate media desperately tried and spectacularly failed to astroturf fraudulent new woke personalities and products. They're actually old woke personalities and products, but they're trying to rebrand them. Representative Al Green, you know, the burnt Colonel Sanders guy, like they try to say he's a civil rights hero. That failed. Michelle Obama podcast launch, bomb.
Yeah.
Dylan Mulvaney biography launch, bomb. Disney race swap Snow White, bomb. Like he said, it's total panic time. The fake money and clicks and audiences are gone. They never existed. It was a mirage, an algorithmic magic trick. All that's left is the brutal reality that left-wing quote influencers were never popular at scale. Meanwhile, merit-based independent media and true talent and grit and work ethic is gaining influence and audience on a parabolic scale. I want to get I'm going to start on the bottom and work up here.
Okay.
Melonie, what's your take on, this, I think, as a mandate, but also kind of like the fact that they also did a media blitz for Dylan Mulvaney, and that flopped.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with this is people like Michelle Obama here kind of had this illusion of having a lot of fans, especially among liberal women. But it just shows that people like Michelle Obama, Dylan Mulvaney, these are just like little pets to the liberals who can use that to signal their virtue of like, oh, yes, queen, like pretend like they support these people, but they don't give a crap. All they care about is trying to look virtuous. And, oh, I'm going to look virtuous if I say something on Twitter about how I support Michelle Obama or Dylan Mulvaney. But then when push comes to shove and it's like, oh, here's a whole podcast from people who have had millions and millions and millions and millions of eyes on them over time, and still to pull these extremely low numbers for that kind of status that they've built. I mean, it just shows that they didn't really have people who are fans of them in the first place. It was fake. Yeah, it was fabricated. And I'm with you that just to try to save her image, her PR team should have put in a lot of money into advertising and getting some views and subscribers on the channel, because
you can literally pay for the subs and views.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't they do that?
They've got so much money. So there's no like that. That's what they should have done, because otherwise now this is a gigantic embarrassment and they would have been better off not doing this at all.
It reminds me, before I go to Gothix, I don't know if you guys followed this. I don't know if Luke or you reported on it, maybe. I definitely did, because I have 7 videos a day.
The Spotify Obama deal?
No, that tanked too.
Yep.
But there was a phenomenon that right after the election, every major left-wing influencer was losing tens of thousands of followers a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that's because those were all paid bots.
Yeah.
So once the election was over, I don't think David Pakman said anything that, made 100,000 of his followers disappear. I think that the DNC was paying for bot accounts.
I agree.
And this is what their real popularity is now without them. What do you think? What do you think this says? Do you think maybe it's just, hey, this is a long road? People have had a lot of people are bored with podcasts, or do you think that this is a bigger mandate on kind of I don't have anything personally against Michelle Obama. People make the big mic joke, but she's never been I don't have anything against her. I don't hate her. But what do you make of this? I mean, this is a pretty stunning disaster.
Yeah, I don't. I kind of agree with the tweet that you were reading, where the guy said that these people weren't really popular to begin with. It was kind of just inflated. And I 100% agree, because the Democrat Party, all they have to run off of is identity politics. Mm-hmm. And even that, there's no substance there. It's just here, black person, trans person, gay person. Right. No one wants to sit there and listen to a conversation with Michelle Obama. Even when I voted for Barack when he was running the first time, it was because he was black. I didn't know anything about his policies. I was literally doing what everyone else in my community was doing, was just supporting the black person. But I don't think the vast majority of the population can relate to someone like her. And that's probably why Kamala was talking about Doritos, because
please, I'm just like you. Yeah. Yeah, what could Kamala even say that anyone could relate to? But what do you make of the larger mandate? What is next for Harry Sisson and these other beta male influencers that do you think, Gothix, that these people even knew that there was a system behind propping them up? I wonder if they actually just thought they were that popular and no one told them that they were getting thousands of bot retweets and likes and all that kind of stuff. What do you think that does to them?
Honestly, I find it hard to believe that they don't know that they're unpopular. I think the money soothes people a lot of the time. They're getting paid a lot of money, so you can withstand the hate and vitriol that you're going to get from people that criticize you being a shill for the left. And that's all I see is I think these people are just paid and they're comfortable knowing that. But when that money dries up, maybe they might change their mind.
They might have to get a personality. Now, Luke, what do you make? Luke, I want to ask you specifically about the comments, because there's a party going on down here, and it's mostly hey, here's Mark Dice. Wow, 8,000 views for debut show on the first day. LOL. People are saying hey, you fellas going to tell us about the $65,000 of hot dogs Barack had shipped to the White House? Somebody also said hey, you guys can ever tell us about that chef you murdered over a lover's quarrel? I mean, every Obama conspiracy is in these comments. What? I mean, there's no way these comments are on by the end of the week, Luke. No way.
They're going to try to shut them down immediately. They're dealing with such a backlash. I could just see the Obamas in the background just freaking out right now, because this kind of takes the veil off of them.
Brutal.
This is the reality that they have been hiding away from. And this is them in panic mode, because I think what they realized, the people on the left and the establishment, is that they don't have a Joe Rogan. Where's their Joe Rogan? That was the big conversation after the election, because the election proved, this last presidential election, that independent media that podcasters were way more powerful than the corporate media. So this is them reshifting their larger focuses here. As today, we just got the news, Meghan Markle is launching her own podcast. Gavin Newsom just launched his own podcast. Michelle Obama just launched her own podcast. It's not a coincidence here.
They're trying,
but now they're trying to put up anything on the wall, and they're just trying to see what sticks right now, because this is their larger kind of thinking. Holy crap, they have destroyed us in this new media warfare. We have to get engaged in this new form of media disinformation battle that is being fought on the front lines of actual genuine conversation. Let's try to have a genuine conversation, and they're failing at it.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting to me is that,
and just really quick, I got to hold accountable Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon. They were on the Gavin Newsom show.
I agree.
They didn't hold his feet to the fire. The people in the comment section are holding his feet to the fire more than they are on their guests, and they're like kind of happy to be on their show. And I'm like, what are you doing, guys? Come on. This is a treacherous, horrible human being that has ruined lives. When I talked to Gavin Newsom, I was like, hey, how does it feel knowing you ruined so many freaking lives? That should be the confrontation. That should be the issue here. But there's a reason Gavin is not live. There's a reason Michelle is not live either.
Right.
They should be live, and then they could really enter this larger battle space, but they won't ever do that because they'll be like, let's go to the comment section. Let's go to the super chats. But
then if they did that, Luke, I think they would come across more authentic. You know, like if they actually did live or they didn't edit,
right,
and they left some of that controversy in, it would be better for them, but they're completely incapable because they're so used to shifting or controlling the narrative. I want to, before we move on to the next topic, I want to finish with Melonie's take on this. What do you think the odds are that we're going to see an email from the Obamas or a statement from the Obamas to YouTube about hate speech or about racism coming up here?
That's definitely possible. I will say there is one way that Michelle Obama could make me a fan of hers, and I would watch all of her podcasts.
Oh, here we go.
That's if she signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That would be
I think she could be our secret weapon. I think it could work.
Yeah, she's definitely a lot of man. So I want to go to I want to end that segment, but I want to go back to what Luke said, because I think like Luke and I kind of are standing alone on our criticisms of our fellow cohorts. And again, I think Charlie Kirk does an incredible amount of good.
Yeah.
I think Steve Bannon does an incredible amount of good. But both of these dudes pussied out to be on Gavin Newsom's podcast, by the way, who is way less popular than both of them. And neither one of them even bothered to push back at all. They were like they were chummy. It was embarrassing for both of them. And like, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't want to hear from Charlie Kirk or Steve Bannon now about how the race is too damn close with Gavin Newsom in 2028 because they helped rehab him.
Yeah, they're giving him the layup. They're giving him the access. They're giving him the clicks. They're giving him all the attention, and they're propping him up. They don't understand this.